Good afternoon. This is Kathleen Drew, Chair of the Washington State Energy Facility Site Evaluation Council, calling our October monthly meeting to order. Ms. Grantham, will you call the roll?
Certainly, Chair Drew. Department of Commerce.
Elizabeth Osborne, present.
Department of Ecology.
Eli Levitt, present.
Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Mike Livingston, present.
Department of Natural Resources.
Lenny Young, present.
Utilities and Transportation Commission.
Stacy Brewster, present.
For local government and optional state agencies, for the Horse Heaven Project, for Benton County, Ed Brost.
Ed Brost is present.
Thank you. For the Watoma Solar Project, for Benton County, Dave Sharp.
Dave Sharp, present.
Washington State Department of Transportation, Paul Gonseth. For the Hop Hill Solar Project, for Benton County, Paul Crouppen.
Paul Crouppen, present.
For the Wallula Gap Project, for Benton County, Adam File.
Adam File is here.
For the GoldenEye Best Project for Skagit County, Robbie Eckroth. For Assistant Attorney Generals, John Thompson.
Present.
And Zach Packer. Administrative Law Judges, Adam Torum. Laura Bradley. Dan Gerard. And Travis Dupree. And now we'll move on to council staff. I'll call those who are anticipated to speak today. Sonia Bumpus.
Present.
Amy Hofkemeyer.
Present.
Amy Moon. Sarah Randolph.
Present.
Lance Caputo.
Present.
John Barnes.
Present.
Joanne Snarsky.
Present.
And Zia Ahmed.
Present.
For operational updates, Kittitas Valley Wind Project.
Jerry Cassidy, present.
Wild Horse Wind Power Project.
Jennifer Galbraith, present.
Grace Harbor Energy Center.
Chris Sharon's present.
Chehalis Generation Facility.
Jeremy Smith, present.
Columbia Generating Station.
Dennis Mahinagic, present.
Columbia Solar.
Thomas Cushing, present.
And Goose Prairie Solar.
I believe he is traveling today, so I will speak on his behalf. This is Sarah Randolph.
Thank you, Sarah. And is there anyone here for the Council for the Environment?
Yes, Sarah Reineveld is present.
And I'm going to circle back over to the local government and optional state agencies. Apologies, I did miss Carriger Solar for Klickitat County, Matt Childs.
Matt Childs, present.
Thank you. Chair, there is a quorum for all council.
Thank you, Ms. Grantham. We'll move on to the proposed agenda, and I just want to alert folks that there was a revised agenda put out yesterday, and the only change between what was proposed and what I'm going to ask the council to adopt for today's meeting is that we're no longer going to take up the Wallula Gap land use order. So we're not going to be taking that up at this time. So that's the only difference between the two agendas. And with that, is there a motion to approve the revised agenda, which is the one that appears before you on the screen?
Lenny Young, so moved.
Second?
Elizabeth Osborne, second.
Thank you. I said approve. I think I meant adopt. So all those in favor of adopting the revised agenda, please say aye.
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 Opposed? It is adopted. Thank you. Moving on to the meeting minutes, we have two sets. The September 18th monthly meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve those monthly meeting minutes?
Mike Livingston, so moved.
And second?
Stacy Brewster,
What?
second.
And I did not have any corrections in this set of minutes. Did anyone else find any changes or corrections?
This is Dennis Mehinagich from Energy Northwest. On page 13, line 24, the value 300 should be changed to 30.
Oh, thank you. Any other changes? With that, all those in favor of approving the minutes as amended, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The minutes are approved. Moving on to the September 13th, 2024 Horse Heaven Special Meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the Horse Heaven Special Meeting minutes?
Eli Levitt, motion to approve.
Thank you. Second?
Second the motion, Adam File.
Thank you. I have one change here on page 11, line 17. The minutes say opposed, and the word should be proposed. Are there other changes, suggested changes to the minutes? Stacy, Ms. Brewster?
Yeah, on page 7, lines 12 and 13, it says startup instruction. I believe it should probably say start of construction.
Okay, great, thank you.
And also on page 12, line 3, it says litigation, and it should say mitigation.
Thank you. Okay, any other corrections?
Chair Drew,
So-
this is Andrew.
Yes.
I just wanted to point out on the cover page itself, it looks like the court reporter might have used a past cover page that says held Friday, March 10th. So I was going to go ahead and fix that as well.
Thank you very much. I went
course.
right by the cover page. Thank you. Okay, those are the corrections. All those in favor of approving the Horse Heaven Special Meeting minutes as amended, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? The meetings are approved. The minutes are approved. Thank you. Okay, moving on to our next item, the facility update for Kittitas Valley. Mr. Cassidy.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, FSAC Council and staff. This is Jared Cassidy with EDP Renewables for the Kittitas Valley Wind Power Project. We had nothing non-routine to report for the period.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wild Horse Wind Power Project, Ms. Galbraith.
Yes, thank you, Chair Drew, council members and staff. This is Jennifer Galbraith with Puget Sound Energy representing the Wild Horse Wind Facility, and I have no non-routine updates for the month of September.
Thank you. Chehalis Generation Facility, Mr. Smith.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, FSEC staff and council. This is Jeremy Smith, the operations manager for Chehalis Generation Facility. I have nothing non-routine to note for the reporting period.
Thank you. Grays Harbor Energy Center, Mr. Sharon.
Afternoon, Chair Drew, FSEC council and staff. It's Chris Sharon, the plant manager, Grays Harbor Energy Center. And for this September period, we also had nothing non-routine, no non-routine items to report.
Okay, thank you. Columbia Solar, Mr. Cushing.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, council members, FSEC staff. This is Thomas Cushing speaking on behalf of Columbia Solar. There are no non-routine updates to report.
Thank you. Moving on to Columbia Generating Station.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew.
Go
Council
ahead.
members, FSEC staff. This is Dennis Mechinagich speaking on the behalf of Energy Northwest, Columbia Generating Station, and Washington Nuclear Projects 1 and 2. On September 23rd, 2024, Columbia Generating Station sent a National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, NPDES, 5-day noncompliance report for the potential release of lubricating oil into the plant service water system due to a failure in heat exchanger TO-HX2 Bravo on reactor feed turbine alpha. However, after thorough troubleshooting, Energy Northwest determined that the heat exchanger had no indication of failure and no oil from TO-HX2 Bravo entered the TSW system or the Columbia River. The oil leak pathway was traced from the oil reservoir to reactor feed turbine alpha, passing through a failed seal and exiting the equipment to a marine oil separator located adjacent to reactor feed turbine alpha. The volume of oil found in the oil water mixture from the marine oil separator closely matched the total amount of oil added to the reservoir given known losses external to reactor feed turbine alpha. Both the excessive oil additions to the reservoir and frequent removal of the oil water mixture from the separator began in June of 2023. The oil water mixture from the marine oil separator is collected and separated, with the oil ultimately being sent off as waste. TO-HX2 Bravo was taken out of service on September 21st, 2024. Oil samples taken from the heat exchanger showed no signs of an oil water mixture, ruling out the possibility of a leak in the heat exchanger. Since there is a theoretical pathway for oil to enter the heat exchanger while in service, there would also be a pathway for TSW to enter the heat exchanger when not in service. Based on the above analysis, the most likely pathway for oil loss is through a seal within the pump. This leak mixes with pump seal water and exits through a marine oil separator, which is collected into our barrel. Therefore, Energy Northwest is providing a written retraction, which was already submitted to FSEC, of the oil spill, which we reported on September 18th, 2024. In addition, Energy Northwest is evaluating additional actions to prevent reoccurrence in the future. The evaluation is being driven under the Energy Northwest Corrective Action Program and is assigned condition report number 462562. And that is all I have.
Thank you. I think we also have comments by staff. Ms. Bumpus?
Chair Drew, if I might.
Oh, Ms. Hofgemeyer. Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you. I wanted to add that staff are working with the facility and Department of Ecology in coordination to further investigate, and we will provide updates to the council as that investigation proceeds.
Thank you. Are there questions from council members? We will certainly thank you for keeping us informed as any additional information comes available. Thank you. Moving on to the Goose Prairie Solar Project. I understand Mr. Christ is not available. Ms. Randolph.
Yes. Good afternoon. Thank you, Chair Drew and council members. For the record, this is Sarah Randolph, site specialist for Goose Prairie. The governor's site visit and red ribbon cutting was on Monday this week. The facility update is provided in your packet. There are no other updates to report at this time.
Thank you. I would like to let the council know that I did attend the governor's visit to the Goose Prairie site on Monday. It was very good to see Brookfield Renewables and the contractor, answering questions and providing information to the governor and the first lady as well. We're all really pleased with the work that has gone on in developing this project and getting it very close to operational, and look forward to it energizing. And then the power being able to flow onto the grid in the not too distant future. So thanks to everybody who was involved in that event, and certainly everybody who has worked on the project to date. Moving on to High Top and Austria, Ms. Randolph.
Thank you again, Chair Drew and council members. For the record, this is Sarah Randolph, Site Specialist for Austria. FSEC staff are continuing to receive and review documents being sent by the certificate holder for pre-construction plans. Last month, we discussed the Construction Stormwater General Permit, or the CSWGP, prior to construction, and that FSEC issues coverage under the Department of Ecology General Permit. In your packet, you will find a letter of coverage. At this time, FSEC staff have not had any public comments, with a public comment ending period of October 19th. Staff recommends the council vote on a permit issuance as long as no substantive comments come in prior to the close of the comment period. If none are received, we would move forward with issuing the permit. If substantive comments are received, the permit would not be issued, and staff would be bringing the permit and comments to council at the November council meeting for review for consideration. The certificate holder and their consultant are on the phone if there are any questions. We have no other updates at this time.
Are there any questions from council members? If not, is there a motion to approve the construction stormwater general permit pending no substantive comments received before the close of the hearing?
Lenny Young, so moved.
Second?
Elizabeth Osborne, second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Horse Heaven Wind Farm, Ms. Hofkemeyer.
Excuse me. Thank you, Chair Drew and council members. For the record, this is Amy Hofkemeyer providing an update for the Horse Heaven Wind Project. On September 13th, the council held a special meeting and deliberative session on the updated or the revised Horse Heaven Site Certification Agreement, or SCA. The council voted to approve the adoption of changes to more narrowly tailor mitigation in the SCA and submitted the revised SCA to the governor. Following this, a summary of the proposed changes and council reconsideration was submitted to Governor Inslee on September 17th. Pursuant to Revised Code of Washington 80-50-100 3B, the governor shall, within 60 days of receipt, either approve the application and execute the certification agreement or reject the application. The 60-day time period expires on November 16th, 2024. Per RCW 80-50-100 sub 4, the governor's decision to either execute the SCA or reject the application for certification shall be final as to that application. Are there any questions?
Thank you. I would remind the members of the public that the questions are to come from council members. If you have a question about a project, please communicate directly with the staff through email or through telephone calls. But we do not take public questions at this meeting. So are there any questions from council members? Okay, thank you. Moving on to the next subject is the Wautoma Solar Project update.
Thank you,
Ms.
Chair Drew
Barnes.
and Council.
Oh, Mr. Caputo.
Thank you,
Sorry
Chair
about
Drew
that.
and council members. For the record, this is Lance Caputo, Siting Specialist for FSEC. The council held an adjudicative hearing on the subject of land use on September 25th, followed by a public comment hearing on October 3rd. Pursuant to WAC 463-60-116 subsection 3, we received an updated application for site certification, or ASC, on October the 9th, which is posted on the project website and made available for public and council review. At this time, staff recommends that the council consider the project record and request that the council direct staff to prepare the appropriate documents for a recommendation to the governor. Thank you.
Thank you. So the council, the Wautoma Council, met last Friday to discuss the evidence and testimony presented in the land use adjudication. Those hearings, those particular meetings for deliberation are not open to the public, but you will see the outcome of them as we develop our adjudicative order. The issues in the adjudication are whether the council should recommend preemption of inconsistent local zoning, and if so, what conditions to include in a draft SCA to recognize the purposes of the preempted local zoning. The council took a vote and tentatively decided in favor of recommending preemption, subject to the land use related mitigation measures that are already in the MDNS. However, our initial findings and conclusions from the ALJ are forthcoming, and the parties may petition for reconsideration of those. The council and AAG will prepare a final adjudicative order explaining the council's decision either prior to or at the same time as the council makes its recommendation to the governor on the application for site certification. Council members, do you have any questions about this process? I'm going to ask if there is a motion from the council to direct the staff to prepare a recommendation for the governor to approve the application for site certification consistent with the forthcoming adjudicative order and a draft site certification agreement, including the mitigation measures included in the ASC and in the SEPA mitigated determination of non-significance. Let's put this on the table, council members, and then we can have a discussion if you wish. I'm looking for a council member to offer the motion I just read.
Stacy Brewster, so moved.
Thank you. Second?
Dave Sharp, second.
Thank you. So this is putting forward to the staff, this is a request to the staff to prepare the documents so that the public has a chance to review them before a final vote is taken by the council. And the documents will be a recommendation to the governor to approve the application for site certification and a draft site certification. And those two pieces will be drafted and then will go to the public for review before our November meeting. Are there any comments or questions on this? Okay. Hearing none, all those who approve the motion to direct staff to prepare these documents, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So again, to the public, these documents will be prepared for you to review and comment on before our November meeting. So thank you very much. And we will look forward to hearing what comments people have on that. Hop Hill Solar Project Update, Mr. Barnes.
Thank you, Chair Drew and council members. For the record, this is John Barnes, FSEC staff for the Hop Hill application. On Friday, September 27th, 2024, FSEC received from the applicant additional application materials. These materials include a transmission corridor and wildlife habitat survey report for biological field surveys conducted between 2023 and 2024 within the project's 200-foot wide transmission line corridor, which will occupy 670 acres. On October 15th, 2024, FSEC also received from the applicant wetland and waters delineation reports. The wetland and waters delineation report, August 2024 report, supplements a previous wetland delineation report on the project's initial 11,180 acres, which originally occurred in 2022 study area. The Wetlands and Waters Delineation Report October 24 provides findings from the Wetlands and Waters field delineations conducted in May 2023 within the project's 566.1 acre transmission line corridor. Work is continuing with the applicant to complete studies and reports needed to make a SEPA determination. We continue to coordinate and review the application with our contractor, contracted agencies, and tribal governments. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions from Hop Hill Solar Council members for staff? Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
Heriger Solar, Ms. Snarsky.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew and council members. For the record, this is Joanne Snarsky, the siting specialist for Carriger Solar. In late September, we conducted a meeting with the Department of Ecology and Cypress Creek Renewables to review Ecology's comments on Cypress Creek's revision of the wetlands report. Cypress Creek has made the requested updates and provided them to Ecology. We anticipate Ecology's concurrence in the next week or two on the wetlands report. Cypress Creek Renewables is also moving forward with scoping of their traffic impact analysis. Klickitat County has provided feedback on the scope of work. We also anticipate receiving Department of Transportation feedback on it as well. May I answer any questions?
Are there any questions from Carriger Solar Council members for staff?
No.
Thank you. Wallula Gap project update, Mr. Barnes.
Thank you, Chair and council members. For the record, this is John Barnes, FSEC staff for the Wallula Gap application. On October 22nd, 2024, staff will accompany members of the Department of Ecology as they conduct a review of the areas of concern relating to the open waters and wetlands on the site. Their questions are a result of the review of the Wallula Gap application. This field visit is needed to confirm these questions. Staff are continuing to review the application with our contractor, contracted agencies, and tribal governments. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions from Wallula Gap council members? Thank you.
Thank you.
Golden Eye Bess project update, Mr. Ahmed.
Thank you, Chair Drew and council member. For the record, this is Zia Ahmed, the siting specialist for GoldenEye Battery Energy Storage Project. On September 27, AFSEC sent a data request and is waiting for a response from the applicant. We are continuing to review the application materials with our contracted agencies. There are no other updates at this time. Let me know if there are any questions for me.
Are there any questions from GoldenEye BESS council members? Thank you very much. That concludes our project and facility updates. We now move on to the cost allocation for second quarter. Ms. Bumpus.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Drew and council members. For the record, this is Sonia Bumpus. I'm providing an update to the council for the non-direct cost allocation. This is for second quarter fiscal year 2025, October 1 through December 31, 2024. For Kittitas Valley, 4%, Wild Horse, 4%, Columbia Generating Station, 20%, Columbia Solar, 4%, WNP1, 2%, Grays Harbor 1 and 2, 6%, Chehalis, 6%, Desert Claim, 4%, Goose Prairie, 4%, Horse Heaven, 11%, Badger Mountain is at 0%, High Top, 4%, Ostria, 4%, Watoma, 7%, Hop Hill, 5%, Carriage or Solar, 5%, Balula Gap, 5%, and GoldenEye, 5%. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This brings us to the end of our agenda. Thank you for your participation, and this meeting is adjourned.